South African-born billionaire Elon Musk was watching behind the couch in the Oval Office, and we can speak now to his South African father, Errol, who joins us. Good morning to you.
Morning.
The way that the meeting went in the Oval Office has been reported very widely as a sort of ambush of Ramaphosa. Do you think it was?
Well, no. I think they went for the most important thing, and that is to ensure that these people that were murdered didn't die in vain, and that their lives could count for something. It is a genocide. The area in which these people live that were murdered is sparsely populated. It's very much similar, probably less populated than the area around Gaza, where the Hamas atrocities took place. So the number is not 1,000, it's well over 4,000 farmers that have been killed. And probably the whole population is probably in the area of about 12,000.
But those figures, Errol, those figures don't come from the South African government. South African police recorded 12 murders on farms in the last quarter of 2024, and that's out of almost 7,000 murders across the country.
Yes, you can't rely on the South African government for anything.
But why should we rely on you who assert it either? That's the problem.
Well, I'm telling you what the numbers are. 4,000 is the number, over 4,000. And, I don't want to get into a debate on this. So they dealt with the main issue last night, and not the 140 race laws aimed at white people, not the forcing of competent people out of jobs, not the BEE, which is destroying business in South Africa, not the fact that the economy here is on its knees, that the country is being driven into the ground by this government of the last 35 years. They dealt with the most important thing, and the ANC will go away with nothing. Nothing.
But many people would recognise, and we've reported on this programme, the problem of corruption in the South African government, the problem of the economy, things you're talking about. But genocide is a very specific phrase. It has a very specific meaning. It doesn't strike me that any of the South Africa's political parties, including the Afrikaners and the white community in general, they don't say there's a genocide in South Africa. None of the figures that are produced by people in the country support the notion of genocide. You can talk about inequality, you can talk about individual cases and murders, and people understand that. But genocide is a very specific thing that doesn't seem to be supported by evidence, Errol.
Yes, well, I don't agree with you. So, your opinion is not that important to me. So, yes, no,
it wasn't an opinion, it was a question, really, Errol.
The fact is that they are calling for the murder of white people, white farmers and so on in South Africa, in stadiums filled with hundreds. That's, you can't just ignore that, And, really, people are getting tired of this type of thing, Ramaphosa went there yesterday thinking it's shame that we've come again to get our handout. Well, they're not getting their handout this time, all right? Okay.
Is that the bigger point, though, that I think everyone would agree with, is South Africa's huge violence problem?
I can't hear a word you say.
Oh, Errol, can you hear me now?
Yes, if you speak up, I can hear you.
Okay, I'll speak up for you. The bigger point, which everyone will agree on, is the problem of violence in South Africa. And I know you've experienced it yourself, Errol. You killed intruders who entered your property back in 1998, so you understand the issue of violence.
Yes. I was on a farm, and I had my 6-year-old daughter with me, and about 8 of them came in. They opened up on me, and my daughter fired 52 rounds at us. I don't know what they were shooting at, but they didn't hit us. I fired 2 rounds, and I dispatched 3 of them to the next world.
And how do you feel about that now when you reflect on it?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not proud of it. I mean, obviously, nobody wants to do that. On the other hand, if they'd succeeded, I was told by the police my child would have been most likely eaten for muti, so I'm glad, that we were able to survive that,
Elon Musk was there, and we can have a debate about the facts and figures, but Elon Musk was there. You have an influence on Elon Musk. Elon Musk clearly has an influence on Donald Trump's thinking when it comes to South Africa. Is that fair? Do you think that Donald Trump has been influenced by Elon when it comes to his thoughts on South Africa?
Donald Trump is not stupid. He's a very clever man. So, no, Elon has been out of the country for 35 years. So his last visit here was, over 5 years ago. So he's more an American now than a South African. But obviously he's aware of the circumstances here through his friends and so on that might still be here. And, everybody in the country is aware of it. It can't be just pushed under the rug. The corruption and stealing and incredibly incompetent government of the ANC has got to end. It's got to end. It's got to end. Otherwise, there's no future here. There's no future in this country. Something's got to happen.
And Donald Trump feels he has a role to play in that. He was very clear on that. It does look like Elon's time in government is coming to an end. He's going back to a pretty damaged Tesla. Tesla needs him, and he wants to go and deal with his own business.
Yes.
Do you think
Elon was contracted to assist with cleaning up the fraud and stealing in the American government, which he's done. And he now has a team that are all federal employees that will continue with the work. His tenure as a, sort of temporary employee is over. And, he'll get back. There's nothing to be alarmed about with all the businesses that he's doing. Tesla's share price is about 140% higher right now than it was this time last year. Every third car in America, I've just come back from America, every third car is a Tesla. So we don't really have a problem. He's fine.
Was government too tough for him, I wonder? The Atlantic is a report of the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, shouting, F you, F you, F you. There's a feeling that he banged heads with the political classes of America. Is that true, do you reckon?
What?
Do you feel he banged heads with the political classes of America, Errol? There's a report that Scott Bessent, who's the Treasury Secretary, was shouting F you at Elon Musk. Do you think that the problem was the political classes met and argued with Elon Musk?
I haven't heard of that, so I don't know. I can't imagine that. I don't know. I never heard of that.
Okay, but do you think, generally speaking, the political classes and he didn't necessarily get on?
Elon is not a politician by any means. I mean, he's the worst conceivable person to be a politician, His idea of having anything going is it must all be, like Liverpool soccer players. They've all got to be the best conceivable, possible people around him. So in government, you can't do that. You unfortunately have to deal with all sorts of people. So for Elon, government, and that is not really his thing at all.